Hello my fellow riders, today we are going to be changing a tyre on a scooter rim. Now there are a couple of bits that you need to do this job to make it easier. It can be done without one, but I wouldn't suggest it. This is a debeader, and this will make it so that your tyre comes off of the bead. Tyre irons, some protective rubber things, tyre protectors, rim protectors, whatever you want to call them. We use tyre fit paste, which is like a tyre soap sort of stuff. And for this job, we are also going to use a new tyre valve because the one on the bike is perished. Now the first thing I would do is wipe off some of the rubbish that's on the tyre. Just to make it easier for yourself. And I'll show you why in a sec. So on all of these tyres, they have a way they're supposed to go around, and I find it useful to actually mark the tyre, mark the rim, just to make sure that you know which way. Yes, you should be able to do it without doing this, but I have done it before where I put the tyre on the wrong way around and then you have to take it off again, start from the beginning, and it is a pain in the bum. So you should be able to see just here it's got a little arrow pointing that way. So all I'm going to do with a bit of Tipp-Ex, just mark it. Tipp-Ex will come off and that's fine. On this one you can see, I don't know if you can see, but the tyre, the valve has perished. It's not leaking, but it will do soon. Save myself some time, I'm just going to cut it off. Valve is off. Chuck that in the bin. Now as you can see, even if I push down with my hands, I can't debead it myself. And the older the tyre is, the harder it is. But they tend to go a little bit hard after a while. It all depends really, if you want to do this, it's all down to cost, I guess. So for you to get a tyre changed, it's usually £15–20 and they use specialist machinery. If you want to do this, it's going to take you half an hour. Are you going to save some money? Maybe a little bit, but probably easier just to get a professional to do it. PS, I'm not professional. We don't usually do tyres at cheap bikes for us, so we don't have the big machine that costs thousands of pounds. The other problem with doing it this way is you do not have the ability to balance the wheel. On a smaller capacity bike is not that much of an issue, but on a bigger 600cc bike you may have some issues. Sorry if I'm pulling loads of faces, but this isn't exactly the easiest thing in the world to do. So on these you've got to debead it both sides. The other issue that you've got with doing this at home is there's no way to get rid of the tyres. So for a company like Cheap Bikes for us, we have to pay to get the tyres taken away. And before they used to do things like make cow mats out of them, but I don't think they do that anymore. So on these, as you see, they've got a curved edge one side and a flat edge the other. This is so that you can get it in and get it underneath the tyre to be able to prise it off. So what you want to do is make sure it's all debeaded, push down on the back edge, and then you can lift it up. Stick the other one in as well. And that's all, pretty much. Come back on. As I say, this is a little bit tricky, and it's easier to do it on the floor, but I can't show you on the floor, so I get it up. This tire's a little bit old. I'm going to get them out. I did say it was going to be difficult. Again, make sure that the rubber's in to protect the tyre. Get your remover tool, put it underneath. Press it down, and again I'm going on the floor. Whew. Little hot above now. Remember to remove the other bit of the valve. Now if you can see on this, catch my breath a bit now. I don't know if you remember, but I had the operation on my nose, and it made me a little bit out of breath. Still recovering. Woosah. So as you can see from this, they haven't actually used tyre soap when they put it on originally. That's why it was quite hard to get off. That's all the tyre soap is. But anyway, what you do is you get the tyre soap and you want to put it all the way around the rim like so. Number one, this will help you get the tyre on, and number two, it will help you bead it. You can use washing up liquid on this, by the way. Makes a little bit more of a mess, but it works just as well. And to put the valve in, we use Vaseline. Where did I put the valve? So you put the Vaseline around the top of the valve. And you also put it a little bit on the hole. You can in theory put the valve in with a pair of pliers, but you are likely to damage the thread. So you can get one of these things, which is a puller. Bit difficult on this one. The puller attaches to the bottom of the valve and just pull it through, and that is why it's called a puller. Right, you've got the tyre, and again you want to put some tyre soap on this. You can always wash it off afterwards. So on these you can see, so on these there's a little bit of an arrow just there, and that obviously tells you which direction you want to go. And you've got the arrow that we put on. On some of these tyres they've got like a dot on them where you're supposed to put the valve to the same position as the dot, but this one doesn't look like it's got one. So we're going to do it the same as on the QA code. Work it round. Again, this one's going to be a pain in the bum. If the tyre's hard, which quite a lot of Chinese tyres are quite hard, it's quite hard to get them on. Little bit of brute force. Looks like I'm going on the floor again. As you can see, this is a bit of a pain in the bum, and you don't really want to be doing it at home unless you have to. This tyre, I would imagine it's been sitting on shelf for a while, because it's just really hard. Some of them are really easily, some of them are not. So the next thing to do is, sometimes with the cap, you get this little lug on the end, and that's just so that you can take the valve out. And it's a lot easier to bead a tyre without valving. Now you're going to struggle to do this on your own, beading it. We've got a compressor, so that helps out a lot. Using a car, like a battery powered car inflator one, is not really going to have the oomph to do it. Main reason is because you're probably going to get a little bit of leakage when you're blowing it up. Which this one has. I thought this was going to be a pain. We finally got it done. So there's a line all the way around the tyre, and you've got to make sure that that is sitting correctly on there. Both sides. Make sure you put the tyre valve back in. Whenever I put a new tyre on, I always over-inflate it to about 3 bar, just to make sure that it's sealed correctly around the side. And that's it, that's how you do it. Now if you buy things like Michelin tyres, you'll probably find this a little bit easier. But yeah, my advice to you is get it done by somebody with a tyre machine, and that just makes it a lot easier, and you won't have to struggle as much as I did. That took me about 45 minutes to put this tyre on. So yeah. So hopefully this doesn't look too much of a bad video, because I've got a feeling that it's going to look pretty bad. But thank you for watching my video. Hopefully you've learned something from this, and a lesson to be learned is to let somebody else do it. Subscribe to my channel, hit the thumbs up, comment below if you've got anything to say in regards to how I can make my videos better. But as always,